Welcome to Thronecast, the official guide to Game of Thrones from Sky Atlantic HD. We've just watched episode 7, The Bear and the Maiden Fair. And coming up, Ellie Kendrick is here and she tells us all about being Meera Reed. Grace Dent joins us for a gentle stroll through this week's episode. We get some answers on Yunkai and Melisandre with Elio and Linda. And we'll have a brief flash of the next episode. I'm sorry. Terrible timing. Wow, what an episode and what an ending. Brienne fighting that bear. I did not see that coming and I just thought it was brilliant. In fact, I'd like to see more of that kind of thing. I propose a Game of Thrones spin-off show where different characters fight different animals each week. Let's see how that would work. In here we have some characters. In here we have some animals. First up, Joffrey fighting a swarm of bees. Next up, Samwell fighting a giant squid. And one more. It's the Hound and a hound. OK, what else this week? I'll tell you something, Ygritte's easily impressed, isn't she? Now that is the kind of person you want to take on a date. Is this a castle? Yes, it is. What's it called? Castle Bedsit? And is this a feast? Yes, the cooks in my scullery prepared it. It's called the Feast of the Pot Noodle. Also this week we saw Robb Stark and his wife Talissa doing what married couples do every 7 to 10 days. And did anyone else think it was weird that as soon as they'd finished doing it, Talissa went and wrote a letter to her mum? Is that normal? Straight after intercourse? Dear mum, wish you were here. And Sansa, she's having a tough time of it. She's upset, she's despondent after finding out she's marrying Tyrion. Is that going to happen? Is there going to be a twist coming? Now, fortunately, I'm pretty good friends with a lot of the cast of Game of Thrones, so I have the number of Sophie, who plays Sansa, in my phone. I'm going to call her now and find out what's really going on. Must be a bad signal. And joining me in the pit to wave her wooden sword at a hairy bear, it's Queen of Sapphires, Grace Dent. Hello.
Hello.
Did you enjoy that then, the bear fight?
No, I didn't.
But what about the chivalrous actions of Jaime coming back to save Brienne?
I think that he has definitely learned a lesson about chivalry and about honour from her. He definitely has. I just found that whole bear thing really difficult and uncomfortable because I do love bears and I didn't like the way that the bear got shot. I didn't enjoy that. But then there was that idea when he said, why have you only given her a wooden sword? And the guy goes, I've only got one bear. And it was just all a bit too much for me. I've found a lot of this series pretty uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, some of it's been tough watching.
Yeah.
I mean, surely she could have just laid dead on the floor because that's what you're supposed to do with a bear, isn't it?
How do you know that?
I just know these things. Or give it a picnic basket.
Yeah, she should have given it a marmalade sandwich.
What did you think of the jealous wildling, you know, the one who can warg?
Oh, well, I think he's one to watch because I think he'll do anything to get Ygritte back. But he hasn't got a chance against Jon Snow, has he?
She seems kind of into him.
Well, you're not going to give that up in a hurry, are you?
Another one who you might not give up in a hurry would be Joffrey, of course, your favourite. Did you love seeing him? Did you love seeing him meet his match with his granddad this week?
I think that was wonderful, that scene, because you know the way that he was just kind of sitting casually on the Iron Throne, thinking about things, and the way that his granddad, you know, climbed those steps and went straight up to eye level with him. I just think it really told us that his granddad would get rid of him.
But Joffrey does have the power, so if Tywin was to put a foot wrong, I mean, we've seen he doesn't care what his mum thinks. We've seen what he doesn't care what Tyrion thinks. Yeah. You know, would he lash out?
I think he'll try, and I think that'll be one of his biggest mistakes because you know his granddad hasn't kept that amount of power for so long without killing people. Never think that you're indispensable in Game of Thrones because you know even your family will kill you in an instant.
It'll be bleak.
It's Game of Thrones.
Well, on that bleak note, we'll leave it. Grace Dent, thank you very much. Now she's shot into Series 3 by firing an arrow at Osha, and now, along with her brother, she's providing some insight into Bran's condition. It's Meera Reed. Ellie Kendrick, hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm all right, you're not in the least bit creepy.
Are you expecting me to be creepy?
Well, I just think that Reed brother and sister...
They're a weird duo, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, not in the same difference kind of a way, but yeah, but you don't give off any weirdness there.
Oh, well, I'm delighted. I mean, that's my aim in life, really.
To not give off weirdness. And how are you enjoying the Game of Thrones experience?
I'm absolutely loving being on Game of Thrones. I'd watched the series before I started.
Oh, so you had?
Yeah, yeah. And when I got the call, because I've already got a couple of my friends actually in it.
Who are your real life friends?
My real life friends, one of my really good friends, Hannah Murray, who I actually went to university with,
right,
is in the show. And we found out when I got cast that we had a scene together.
No.
So it was amazing, yeah. Of all of the hundreds of characters in the show, we had a scene together, so that was great. But we were a bit silly. It was quite hard not to burst out laughing because we both dressed up as completely mad characters. She plays Gilly. Yeah, no, I loved it because I love the fact that I'm a girl in Game of Thrones who's wearing trousers and doesn't have to get naked or die yet. So fingers crossed it will carry on until the next couple of series. We'll have to see.
And you said you'd seen the TV show, so once you knew you were in it, did you then start reading the books to find out what's happened to Meera?
Yeah, so I'd already kind of read some of the books beforehand, but the great thing about the books is they're titled with the characters of each. Each chapter has the character with the title, and I knew that my character followed Bran. So when I was rereading it, I was like, great, I'll just read all the Bran sections in it. So I now, it was funny, kind of. Reading through, because I know what George R.R. Martin is planning for the character, but who knows if it will be
the same in the TV show.
Exactly.
And when you think about the audition you did, we had Natalia, who plays Osha, and she said she went into that audition, she covered herself in mud, she behaved in a wild way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
you didn't do any of that then? You didn't go in with a bow and arrow?
I went in, no, I wish. No, I went in there, and it was great. I went in a few times, actually, and then I met David and Dan, the producers, and we had a chat. And I did it, but as soon as I finished, I thought, oh, I haven't got it, because I messed up the lines. I was really nervous. And this big, long speech, which actually didn't make it into the series.
Right.
Maybe a sign of my acting talent. And I forgot the lines halfway through, and I thought, oh, God, I just haven't got this. There's no point. I might as well run out of the room now. But I finished it, and then I got the call saying I got it, and I was like, this is amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And have you had any bow and arrow training?
Oh, yeah, I have. It's amazing. So
Could you kill a man?
Well, I would like to try, but if you push me. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, possibly maim. I think I could maim. No, it's amazing. Out in Belfast, where I was doing all of my filming, they've got like a weapons camp. So you can go in and you can learn anything, like sword training, you know, like bow and arrow, whatever. So I went in and there was a really lovely man who actually looked like a wizard who taught me how to use a bow and arrow. And he was amazing. He used to shoot like longbow for Ireland or something. And yeah, it's great. So I just got lessons.
What's the trick?
Well, I don't really know if there is much of a trick.
Damn, I always hope there's a trick to these things.
I know. I kind of thought that he would say like, this is the one thing.
Yeah, yeah.
No one does. No, but he was just very good. Apparently, my eye is slightly high, and he was like a wizard. He went, so just look half a metre above where you should be shooting, or like half a centimetre, whatever it was, above where you should be shooting.
Yeah, half a metre sounds extreme.
Yeah, half a centimetre above where you should be shooting, and you'll hit a bullseye. And I did straight away. It was like, oh.
Wow.
Yeah, scary
I
talent.
love the idea of weapons camp. So if you've got some downtime, like instead of sitting in a trailer reading a magazine, you can just go and learn how to kill someone with a sword.
You ask one of the assistant directors, and you say, "Fix me up," and they'll get you in.
Have you formed a little gang? Because when we were talking to Bran at the beginning of the series, he was saying about one thing let's just say Isaac. Yeah. When we were talking to Isaac at the beginning of the series, he was saying that one thing he loved was having you in a little gang. You're all together.
We had such a little crew. It was really nice because it was just our little group kind of wandering around the woodlands, and we were going to some amazing locations like on the coast of Northern Ireland and in these beautiful old woods. So yeah, it was great. We had a really lot of fun as a little gang. Just kind of wandering around, so hopefully that'll continue. We'll have to see.
Ellie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wasn't Ellie great? I could have talked to her for ages. In fact, I did. You can see the whole interview online at sky.com/Game of Thrones. Now, some women like tall men, some like short men, some like hairy men, some like bald men, gentlemen, rough men, ugly men, pretty girls. Most women don't know what they like until they've tried it. Well, here's the man who ticks all those boxes and the woman who tried it. It's Elio and Linda from Westeros.org. Hello.
Hi, Geoff. I think.
Hey, tell me about this yellow city, Yunkai. Can you give me some idea of what it is, where it is, and whether Daenerys is any closer to getting across to Westeros?
Yeah, certainly. Yunkai is kind of a sister city to Astapor, which is a city that Dany just sacked, basically. They have the same culture, the same customs, the same language, and they're another coastal city next to Slavers Bay, and their main income and economy is through slavery. It's a bit north of Astapor, but it's not really much closer to Westeros. It's going to be a very long march to get back to Westeros at the pace that Dany's presently going.
All right, well, let's get back over there then. On the ocean waves, in fact. We saw Melisandre and Gendry on the boat on the way back to Dragonstone. They were passing King's Landing. And what I don't understand is, how does Melisandre know about Gendry?
Well, it's a good question, actually. It hasn't been clearly stated. Now, from the books, we know that Stannis was actually aware of Gendry. He had actually come with, in the books, Jon Arryn to see Gendry at Tobomot's smithy. That isn't made plain on the show, but it is possible that Stannis is the one who knew about Gendry and who told Melisandre.
Elio, Linda, thank you so much.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
Bye.
And that's all we have time for. We'll be back straight after the next episode of Game of Thrones. But to keep your appetite whetted, here's a preview of episode 8, the next episode, Second Sons.
He's a dangerous man, Khaleesi. They all are.
Man who fights for gold can't afford to lose to a girl.
The darkness will devour them all unless I triumph.
Every man, woman and child put to the sword.
You're lucky. Someone worse than me would find you.
There's no one worse than you.
You'll all be slaves unless I save you.
What's one boy against a kingdom?
Don't go out there.
Stay back! What did you say?